Welcome back to the Healing Temple. I'm your guide, Tracy Andara Starloha. I'm here to provide insights and ideas and foundational knowledge that you can apply to your life to create optimal health and vitality in every way. I've struggled with chronic illness for about 8 years now. I'm just coming out of it, and I've learned so much, and I've developed some solid practices for living a healthy life on all levels, and I want to share those with you here. So I'm doing my videos at the park more now because nature actually is super healing medicine. I learned that this summer on some trips where I was in the sun a lot and I went into the ocean, and I just felt so much better. And I've been going to the park daily since then to get my vitamins from the sun. And so I just wanted to share that experience with you here and now. So thank you for joining me here at the park in Ojai. This is part 2 of another video that I did for the 5 healthy habits for living disease-free. I'm just going to recap those really quick here. We went over alkalizing the body for optimal health, moving the body for optimal health, eating organic raw foods for optimal health, and laughing and mindset work and connection with other humans. So those were the 5 in part 1, and today we're going to go into 6 different foundations for healthy living. I want to debunk a couple things and highlight some just basic foundations that you can be mindful of as you move forward. So if you're here, you might have something in mind or that you're dealing with that you want to change or up level in your life. So I want you to think about what that thing or things are that you want to get better at or improve. And now that you have that, I want you to look out for when I'm talking if any of these things align with that and match to that. And that will be your sign that it's your time to do this and actually take action to change your life in this way. Today, we're going to talk about sleep, hydration, probiotics and prebiotics, and clothing and fear, and knowing yourself as a soul and a unique individual. So I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive into the first topic. All right, getting enough sleep. This is foundational. We all sleep 1/3 of our lives. So it's how you sleep, it's when you sleep, it's the quality of your sleep. These are all super important things. So I want to go over the fine nitty-gritty details of sleep. Even though it sounds like a boring topic, it's actually pretty interesting, I think. There's 3 things that get people pretty cranky when they don't get them. That's food, water, and sleep. So we're going to talk about sleep. I'm not that type of person. I usually get cranky when I don't have enough food or if I'm hungry or hangry. That said, some people, if they don't get enough sleep, they are not your friends. So let's send our compassion to them and give them some love that this is a thing. So why is sleep essential? It helps you heal, detox, balances your hormones, and improves your mood if you have quality sleep. I'm going to read a little passage, it's very short, from my favorite book that I've been sharing with you by Augenis von der Planets, Sleep and Healing. This is for those of you who are actually dealing with a chronic illness and you want to shift that. 90% of healing, that is regeneration and cellular reproduction, occurs during sleep and very restful states. Naps are health-giving, especially when feeling sleepy or tired. A 10-minute to 60-minute nap often does wonders for the body, mind, and spirit. People who are sleepy need sleep. Getting well and strong depends on lots of sleep. As we get healthier and stronger, we need less sleep. When I was recovering from cancer, especially cancer treatments, I slept 12 to 20 hours a day. Now, on the average, I sleep 4.5 to 5 hours each day. I enjoy excellent clarity and stamina in my wakeful hours. 2 to 6 days each month, I may sleep 6 to 8 hours. I usually take a 10 to 60-minute nap every day. So as you can see, he's really a fan of napping. And that's a great point. I mean, if you're sleepy in the afternoon, take a nap. Do not go for caffeine to get more energy. Just let your body rest. I think that is one thing that our culture really takes us away from, is rest. And we just push ourselves and we burn out, and we really don't need to get caught up in the hustle and grind and do more. We really can just step back and nurture ourselves by giving us full space and time to rest. And this can be hard, and this can be a muscle that we have to train. And I have some valuable tips here that I want to share with you about how to train that muscle. Try to create a life for yourself where you don't need an alarm. That might ruffle some feathers. That said, having to get up when your body isn't ready to get up isn't always the best. So you could ask your boss to come in an hour later. You could change your job so you don't have to come in at a certain time. And if you do have to set an alarm, I recommend going to bed early and getting quality sleep. If you're really healthy and you don't need a lot of healing, you might not need a lot of sleep. So you can go to bed at 11, wake up at early for your job, and you're fine. Just what I want to stress is that you're mindful of how much you're sleeping and if it's enough. So if you have to get up early, to go to bed a little earlier, or if you didn't get a good night's sleep the night before, like, make sure to take a nap during the day. In Ayurveda, it's normal and natural that the body gets tired and wants rest between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So this is a time when a lot of people start to crash a little, and instead of resting, they reach for chocolate or caffeine. So what I'm inviting you to do is to be mindful of that time between 2 and 4 p.m. And just, if you get sleepy, just take that as your cue to just go lay down. What I learned recently after hiring a hypnotherapist was that hypnotherapy, or putting yourself into hypnosis, is a really great way to get deep rest and healing time in a shorter period of time. So this is a great way to maximize your time. I'm all about efficiency, so I love this. So I got to hire Mel Sharp as my hypnotherapist. I have her info below. She gave me 6 sessions working on something specific for me that I wanted to focus on and heal. And we did all kinds of different practices throughout our sessions. And essentially, she taught me how to put myself into hypnosis and what to do once you're in there. It's really great because it's like a meditation, only it's more effective and more deep. You only want to go into hypnosis for about 10 to 20 minutes. So you put yourself in, you do either some affirmations, or you go to your healing chamber and lay in there for 10 to 20 minutes. And then you get yourself out and you feel really rested and renewed. There are YouTube videos on how to do hypnosis. That said, I highly recommend just getting some sessions with Mel. She's a really sweet therapist, and it's always nice to have someone with you on the journey. I heard once that going to bed before 11 p.m. is really great. Your body naturally wants to heal during the hours of 11 to 4. So I would say make sure to be sleeping during those hours. Let's move on to the next subject, which is pro and prebiotics. This is a huge thing. People are always talking about gut health, and they're always saying take probiotics. It's probably one of the main things any natural doctor will tell you to do is take probiotics. The gut is where health begins. If anything's off in your gut, it's going to wreak havoc on your whole body. This is an Ayurvedic principle, and a lot of other medical categories would agree. So the gut is where we always want to tend to our health on the physical level. And there's lots of ways to get probiotics. There's lots of products on the market for capsules. And in my experience, when I feel into probiotics, I think it's best to get them naturally. I lean towards getting them naturally with whole foods. So if you're gonna if anyone recommends to you probiotics, I would go for a really good yogurt or a sauerkraut that's organic, of course. And there's lots of good yogurts, coconut yogurt out there, dairy yogurt, sheep yogurt. There's lots of good kimchis and sauerkrauts and fermented vegetables. You can even make fermented vegetables yourself, and I'll show you how to do that in a video. There's also something called high meat that Ajanis recommends in his recipes for living without disease. High meat is actually raw meat that's cut up, and you get bacteria on it, and you basically grow bacteria on it, and then you eat it. The high meat treats constipation and depression mostly. And if you want to know how to make it, please reach out to me. I'll send you the directions straight out of this book. It's really easy. I just don't want to read it to everyone because not everyone wants to hear about high meat. It's very strange. And I personally don't know if the capsules actually work, and they might not. It might be just a gimmick. So food that is in water is alive. So these capsules, they don't have no water in them. So I don't know if they actually work. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And any diet should have probiotics in it, just because we're getting so much, like, there's a lot of pesticides and pollutants in our food and in the air that would kill our beneficial bacteria that are in our gut. And so we want to do a good job at keeping those there. So eating yogurt or sauerkraut with at least once a day is highly optimal. Our bodies are made up of trillions of bacteria cells, and so microbes, or whatever you want to call them, and they help our body function. And if they're good bacteria and more diverse kinds, the better. So we really want to just give ourselves those live and extra live foods. Prebiotics are another topic that a lot of people talk about. Prebiotics, you can look up lists of them, but like onions, green bananas, those are great to incorporate into your diet as well. And know that you're feeding your beneficial gut bacteria when you're eating these foods. We are mental creatures, so when we think about what we're doing in our bodies, we're doing it more consciously. Now, I want to talk about hydration. It's one of the myths I'd like to kind of debunk a little bit. Water is one of those other top 3 that people get cranky if they don't get it, if they're not hydrated enough. I'm a water connoisseur. I love water. The energy of water is really helpful for me because I have a lot of fire and air and earth in my chart and not much water. So I'm always needing water. I always live by the water, and I'm always trying to get the best water in my system. I do not drink bottled water from plastic bottles. I do not drink tap water. I'll drink a sip of water at a restaurant and I will have a spasm because there's so many. I can taste all the chlorine and toxins in there. So I highly recommend, if you're going to drink water, to make sure it's purified or it's come from a source that's clean and alive. The best place to get water is a spring, a natural spring. So if you're on vacation and you need to get a bottle of water, there's a really great brand called Mountain Valley Spring Water. It's in a green glass bottle. Anytime you're drinking water out of a plastic bottle, you're drinking plastic. Plastic leaches into the water. So I really don't want you to drink plastic. And plastic's really bad for just all life in the environment, all the microplastics. There hasn't even been much studies on the effects of it. That said, it's not really natural, and it doesn't decompose. It just kind of sits there. So glass bottles are the way to go. And Mountain Valley tastes like a good, alive, mineral-rich water. I've tasted a lot of other even spring waters in the boxes and such, and they don't taste good at all. They taste flat and dead. I get my water from a well, and I ozonate it to clean it from bacteria. When I'm in Marin, I'll get it from the Red Rock Springs. If I can't access the well or the spring, I will get the reverse osmosis water that comes from like a health food store, and I'll add my own mineral drops to it, because that water's been 99% purified, so it takes out everything, including the minerals, so you want to add minerals back to it. I highly recommend getting a reusable water bottle that you can take anywhere. A metal one is great, and so you just can not have to buy stuff that often. I do really like the Mayu water structure because it's important that water is alive when you drink it. So you can check out the Mayu down below, and they say that they're the closest to a natural spring, like artificially, that you can get. So you put the water in the glass thing, there's a magnet that spins the water, and then you add their mineral drops, and they recommend, of course, the reverse osmosis water too, because it's the most pure. And I have a video, or I have an interview with them that I'll link below. Now that's my past history with water and what I've learned and wanted to share with you. If you're in the beginning stages of your healing journey, make sure you get quality water. And feel free to ask me any questions in the comments about your water source, and I will be happy to converse with you and give you some tips. Now, at the current phase of my journey, I'm looking more into not drinking that much water. And it's because of this book by Agnes von der Planet's The Recipe for Living Without Disease. And I have that book linked below. I'm going to read you about 5 paragraphs from his book where he talks specifically about water and how to optimize your hydration. Water that is not in raw food has no active ions, electrolytes, nor minerals bound with nutrients. It must have all 3 properties, or it is only 10% cellularly utilizable. Water leaches nutrients from our blood and intestines and dilutes digestive juices so that when we eat, we do not digest or assimilate our food properly or efficiently. That leaching often causes waste to embed in body tissue rather than being discarded from the body. So yeah, not to drink water while eating is what he's saying. It is a false notion that water nurtures and hydrates tissue. In fact, water dries the cells while it bloats the body because 90% of it circulates in the blood serum without cellular absorption. That also applies to the H2O cooked in food. People who eat cooked food cannot absorb much of the H2O into their cells. Their cells become dehydrated. Most people who consume cooked and processed food, processed drinks, and water evaporate 2 quarts of water during the night. Most people who consume live raw food, including meat, milk, and vegetable juices, may evaporate only 2 pints throughout the night after they have been on this primal diet for several years. Water is never a good replacement for body fluids spent during evaporation/perspiration because cells cannot absorb it. Only H2O that is nutrient bound in food properly replaces fluids. People believe that water lubricates the body. How can water lubricate anything? Fats lubricate. Try lubricating devices with water and they will disintegrate. Water disintegrates soil and rocks so that plants can eat those particles. Drinking vast quantities of water also disintegrates the human body, causing frequent urination, a sense of being too cold in temperatures as high as 70 degrees, weight loss in many people, and bloating in many others. Raw food contains 55 to 92% water, or H2O, that is 92 to 100% cellularly utilizable. Dehydration is impossible on the primal diet when water is not consumed. I drink about 1 cup of water per week without exercise. I may drink a little more if involved in physical activity. I recommend that people drink raw milk and green vegetable juices and eat tomatoes to fill their H2O requirements. Most often, eating raw tomatoes and raw fat satisfies thirst and dryness, including dry mouth, better than other foods. When physically active, I drink 2 quarts of raw milk, 1 to 2 tomatoes, and up to 1.5 quarts of green vegetable juices per day that are all rich with nutrients to completely satisfy my water needs, or H2O needs. To satisfy dry mouth and severe thirst, I consume butter or cream, rather than dehydrated, we are delipidated. That means we are deficient in the raw fats that can properly lubricate us. Our thirst is more for raw fat than water. All right. I love that. I'm like, dude, that's cool. I just love knowledge that breaks the mold, that disrupts the norm. Like, maybe we don't need to just be drinking so much water, and maybe we can eat more fats. I also find that Shilajit is a great remineralizer, and I take it just eating it by itself, or you can put it in water. I'm going to link some Shilajit below. But the takeaway from all this is that eating a cucumber is going to be way more hydrating than drinking water. Eating a cucumber or drinking raw milk. I'm sorry to those of you who don't have access to raw milk. I know it's not available in all places. Raw milk or butter. More of an esoteric topic, which is know thyself. This is one of the foundations to health, is because when you know yourself, you're aligned with your truth, your soul, your sovereignty, and you're just a stronger, happier person. And happiness is health, and we'll go into that a bit later. Know yourself. You're not meant to be like everyone else. You are a unique snowflake. You were born at a specific day, time, and location. There's probably only a small handful out of 8 billion that are your same birth chart information. This is going into astrology and how each human has a natal chart, and this natal chart is like the blueprint for their soul's journey here on earth. When society teaches us to all be the same, we actually need to be discovering who we really are and what makes us special and unique. Special meaning our unique gifts and talents that only we can offer in this world. So I invite you to explore things like human design, Ayurveda, and astrology, and your individual constitution. Ayurveda and astrology are very similar. You can actually look up your constitution by looking at your astro chart. It's whatever your rising sign is, the ruling planet of that sign, wherever that is in your chart, that's going to be your constitution. Now, what is a constitution? It is like what your tissues are predominantly doing. Are they air, water, fire, or earth? So for me, for example, my tissues are mostly air and fire. Just like the way that I am produces this quality in my system. So when somebody has a lot of air or fire, they tend to dry out fast, or their nervous system tends to get shot pretty easily. So it's so important that I know that about myself, because I can do work to balance that out. So what I love to do is Abhyanga, which is an full body oil massage that can like calm my nerves, lubricate my body, because so much of the way I am is drying it out. And I'll do a video more on Abhyanga that you can learn about that there. Another thing that I know about myself, for example, from human design, is that I'm a projector. Now, there's 4 different types in human design. There's manifestors, projectors, manifesting generators, and reflectors. And each of these is going to have a different way of operating in the world. And human design goes so deep. There's so many levels and different things, like what's your authority, and what this and what that, and what's your gate of power. And so there's all these amazing tools you can look at and say, well, how am I uniquely operating in the world, and what makes me thrive, and what gives me inspiration and light. And when we tap into that, we can better connect with source and spirit, the God source that wants to flow through us and give to the world. And we can just do things that come naturally to us. So we're not trying to be this or that. We just are being ourselves. And nobody is like you. And that's why we need to get rid of like judgment and hate, because we hate and judge things that are different than us, but we're all different. We're all unique. So how can we celebrate those unique differences and really get to know somebody? Like, how do they work? We're not all meant to work the same. We're not the same. We look different. Everything about us is different, and those differences are really us. So we want to celebrate us, right? More aligned with your own specific, unique soul path, the more alive you're going to feel, the more connected with spirit, the more connected with all. I hope that was inspiring, because I'm getting chills. Okay, let's move on to another more grounded, practical option for healthy living, and that is your clothing choices. Now, this is one of my favorite topics next to the water, is clothing. So what you wear literally affects your health, your fertility, and the health of the planet. We all wear clothes, you know, like we don't all wear makeup, we don't all brush our hair, but we all wear clothes. And so those clothing choices are really important. And there's clothes that are made of plastic, and there's clothes that are made of natural fibers. The clothes that are made of plastic, polyester, nylon, and synthetic materials are damaging. They disrupt your hormones. They come into your pores when you're sweating. And they lower your vibration, your frequency. So and that isn't even talking about the environmental harm, the pollution that's created when creating these synthetic materials is going out into rivers and land and polluting animals and soils, and not to mention when they go to the landfill, they continue to do that too. So when they're being made and when they're being let go of, they're creating pollution, these synthetic materials. I really want to encourage you to rethink your wardrobe and choose natural fibers, and I'm going to go into that now. So choose cotton, choose wool, choose hemp, choose viscose, choose rayon, and choose linen. If you can choose organic cotton and hemp, awesome. If you can't, it's okay. We can't all be perfect. These types of clothings are known to have a higher frequency, I think linen being the highest. They feel better, and they're just better for you. So especially to women who wear workout clothes that are tight plastic on their body, and bras and leggings, those you're at the gym, you're sweating, you're opening your pores, you're trying to get healthy, but you're actually like leaching plastic into your pores while you're doing that. So I highly recommend, I'm gonna post some cool Etsy shops that have natural fiber exercise wear, because that's what I'm really into. And I highly encourage you to switch over to that and just be mindful about things that you put really close to your body. And like, most of them are plastic. And if you want to wear garbage bags, glorified garbage bags, then be my guest. But their studies have shown that they decrease fertility, and they're just low vibe. One way that I've found some really great pieces that are normally expensive, but they're affordable, are at consignment stores and thrift stores. I've found amazing cashmere sweaters and things there. So if you can shop thrift and consignment, you're extending the life of clothes. And if you are buying new and it's expensive, know that this piece is going to be with you for your whole life. It's going to last a long time, and it's really quality. So the goal is to go quality over quantity in anything that you're doing. And that's a little secret sub tip for the foundations of healthy living. Please make a commitment with me to get away from fast fashion and to go into quality clothes that feel really good, that let your skin breathe, and that are good for your body and the planet. Thank you. you. I really appreciate you reconsidering that. Oh, and I wanted to say that bamboo is not good. It's actually a kind of a greenwashing tactic. While bamboo feels really soft and it's really nice, it's actually the way I've heard that the way they make it is involves tons of chemicals and just not good for the environment. Like they have to put those chemicals somewhere and they have to dump them somewhere. So do your research on bamboo before you buy it, if you really care about the environment. Lastly, we're going to go over more of an energetic thing that blocks health and that you can be mindful of. There's things that block our health physically, and there's things that block our health emotionally, and this goes on all levels, like from individual to society and the health of the planet. So fear and judgment are negative. They're negative qualities, and love and trust and acceptance are positive qualities. They actually can measure the energies of these things, and you can see that the vibration of love and trust is really high and light and good, and the energies of fear and judgment and hate, and they're really low and they're damaging. They take away from the health of yourself or the whole. So what I want you to do is just be mindful of when you're judging somebody, or when you're afraid, or when you're having negative thoughts or feelings about yourself or someone else. These energies just have a tendency to take us down, to keep us not giving and not contributing to the health of the whole. And it's easier to be negative, and it's easier to be in fear because of our survival instincts and just the way our society has programmed us and the way we've just been operating. And it really takes energy and focus and commitment to shift out of these ways. The mind just naturally leans towards negativity and watching out for harm and protecting itself. And we don't need to do that. Actually, we as humans, we're not in danger. We're at the top of the food chain. We're the stewards of this place. We have conscious awareness and communication capabilities to really do amazing things and creative things and make things happen that are awesome. So it's really important to own that power within, and those gifts that we have, and say, okay, I'm going to choose to make beautiful things and good things and loving things. I'm going to choose to have loving thoughts. I'm going to choose to feel good. And some ways we can choose to feel good are having gratitude. Gratitude is will get you there faster than anything else. Also, forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and others will let go of those kind of patterns towards judgment, negativity, or shame. There's a really beautiful forgiveness mantra called Ho'oponopono, and it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And reciting that over and over will really help you heal. And also another one that I love and that I've used at the beginning of my healing journey was a mantra in English means, may all beings be happy and free. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. I'll write it below. So these are ways we can get out of that fear and judgment state, and train our mind and our body to be in a grateful state, in a loving state, state of wishing somebody well. If you want to be happy and healthy, it's the foundational to train yourself to step into gratitude, step into love, step into forgiveness, step into acceptance, and really open your heart and keep your mind under control. All right, you guys, I'm so appreciative that you stayed and listened to my 6 foundations of a healthy life. I really want you to be happy and healthy in every way, and I think that if you take some of these into your practice, into your lifestyle, you will find that. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I'm always happy to engage and provide more information and details. So what are you gonna tweak this week that will fortify you and nourish you? Are you gonna take a nap or drink some raw milk? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to go check out part 1 of the healthy habits, see the video here. And just so grateful you had the time to give yourself to join me and learn about some of these topics. And yeah, thank you for being part of this channel. Every like, every subscription, and every watch contributes to my nonprofit, Springboard Connectivity, where I'm helping communities and youth in Africa and all over the world get their basic needs met, their food, their water, their health via better food, better hygiene, and education. And so you're helping them by staying with me and watching. And if you want to provide an actual monetary donation, you can find the link in the description to donate to the nonprofit. We have lots of different projects we're working on. You can choose which ones you want to donate to, or you can just donate to the overall operating costs of our nonprofit. So again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week in the next video. Aloha.